welcome to my channel. This is Makeup by Mackenzie and I am Mackenzie, obviously. Today on Makeup 101 we are going to be talking about setting sprays. With setting sprays there can be a lot of confusion about what they are, how do you use them, why do you use them, and then which type of setting spray should I get, what should I look for in a setting spray. So today I'm going to clear all of that up for you and hopefully you'll be able to decide if setting sprays are right for you. So without any further ado, let's play with some makeup, shall we? So possibly the number one confusion is, what are setting sprays? There are two different types of sprays that you will find on the market and they're often marketed as the same thing, but they're not. They're two very different things. One is a setting spray and one is a fixing spray. They're completely different things, even though oftentimes brands will say this is a setting spray when it's really a fixing spray, or we'll say it's a fixing spray when it's really a setting spray. So let's talk about what the difference between the two are. A setting spray is a mist or a spray that is meant to kind of blend all of the layers of your makeup together to help them kind of melt together. So when you have primer, you have foundation, you have powder, you have blush, you have eyeshadow, you have all these different things kind of layered up onto your face, and so a lot of times these layers will act independently from each other. What a setting spray does is basically melts these layers together to create one solid layer so that your face stays all together the way that you put it together. It also helps your makeup look less cakey or dry. For example, if you've got a lot of powder, a lot of foundation on, putting a setting spray over the top is going to help it create a more natural finish, a more natural look, so it looks less like you've got tons and tons of makeup on. Then we've got fixing sprays, and fixing sprays do what everyone thinks setting sprays are supposed to do, which is keep your makeup on longer. Lock it all in so it doesn't move around, so it doesn't sweat off, so it doesn't fade. Fixing sprays can come in different finishes. For example, you can have a matte finish, you can have a natural finish, and you can have a dewy finish, which are the same finishes that foundations will typically have, and they'll do the same thing. A matte finish will give you a matte face, so you will look less oily throughout the day. A natural finish will give you more of a skin-like finish, and then a dewy finish will give you a little bit more shine, more glow. Setting sprays typically don't have a finish. A lot of times they tend to be more on the dewy side because they're not meant to lock your foundation into place. They're not meant to keep you from getting oily looking. They're meant to blend all of the layers together, and to do that you need moisture. So they're going to be a little bit more on the dewy side, whereas fixing sprays can be whatever you want them to be, pretty much. So how do you know which one is a setting spray? So I've got the e.l.f. Makeup and Mist Setting Spray, and then I've got the Wet n Wild Natural Finish Setting Spray. One of these is a setting spray, one of these is actually a fixing spray. How do you know which is which? Well, setting sprays tend to be water-based, and they tend to have things like extracts, like botanical oils in them. Fixing sprays are alcohol-based, so that means when you look on the ingredients, alcohol is going to be within the first 5 ingredients. You're not likely to find alcohol in a setting spray, though if you do, it's going to be in the bottom few ingredients. There's going to be less alcohol in a setting spray than there is in a fixing spray. So for example, let's look at the high-end section of the stores. Max Fix Plus is a setting spray. It does not contain alcohol and it's not going to keep your makeup on longer, whereas the Urban Decay All Nighter is a fixing spray and it is going to help you keep your makeup on all day long. One thing to look for when you're looking at setting sprays or fixing sprays is the mist. A lot of times these dispensers have very uneven mist, and sometimes they have really nice, even, fine mists. Most of it is personal preference. At any rate, you can always decant these into a separate sprayer of your choice that you like. So you can just take it out, pour it in, and use a different sprayer. Are these makeup essentials? No, they're not. You can get along well without them. You really do not need them. However, are they helpful tools? Yes. If you have a problem with your makeup looking cakey, try a setting spray. My favorite is the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set Spray. If you have problems with your makeup melting off throughout the day or fading throughout the day, using a fixing spray is really going to help you increase the longevity of your makeup. My favorite drugstore fixing sprays are the NYX Matte Finish and the Wet n Wild Natural Finish. This one also comes in a dewy finish, and this one comes in a matte and dewy finish. I prefer the natural finish, just my personal preference, and I prefer the matte finish in the NYX one. You don't need to use both a fixing spray and a setting spray. However, using both can really help increase the longevity of your makeup, because when you use a fixing spray by itself, you're really just hitting the top layer of your makeup. When you use a setting spray first, you make your makeup into one layer. So that way when you have the fixing spray over the top, it affects all of the layers of your makeup all at once because they've now become one layer. So you're more likely to have a longer lasting result if you finish off your makeup with both. So let's talk about application. So these are sprays, they're liquids, so if you don't want to get them on your clothes, I would recommend putting a robe or like a cloth or a bib or something over yourself, or just putting a shirt that you don't necessarily mind getting a little bit wet. They're not going to damage your clothes, they're really just going to dry up. Most of them are clear, so they're not going to stain either. If you have a setting spray that does damage your clothes, I would question why you're even putting that on your face. But for the most part, all the ones that I have come across do not damage your clothes. So that's not something you need to worry about. So you're basically just going to spray this all over your entire face. You're going to keep a nice distance. You're not going to want to like get up here. You're going to want to keep a nice distance, maybe about a foot. After you have sprayed your face, you're going to want something to fan your face with. It's going to help it dry faster and lock everything in faster. That is one of Kim Kardashian's secrets to keeping her makeup on all day long. And now it's become pretty well adopted by the makeup community. You can use something like a fan a la James Charles, or you can take whatever is nearby, like a notebook or something like that. Anything you have nearby that you could use to fan yourself with. I'm going to use a fan because if I have one, why not use it, right? So I'm going to start with my setting spray, and again I'm using the e.l.f. one. And I'm just going to put my hair behind my ears, and then I'm just going to spray. Woo! Okay, now I'm going to fan. I'm just going to keep fanning until it feels dry. And this is something that's really nice and refreshing, so if you're hot throughout the day, you can take your setting spray and you can spritz yourself a little bit with it. It's not going to damage your makeup, it's just going to help kind of refresh and bring some moisture back into your face and cool you down a little bit as well. I wouldn't recommend doing that with a fixing spray though, because that's a little overkill. And the alcohol isn't necessarily something you want to be applying to your face throughout the day. Just once a day is fine. Alright, so my face feels pretty dry, and I'm just going to look over it and see. Sometimes setting sprays can leave little spots of wet marks, and I'm just going to take my beauty blender and kind of go over those spots just to make sure everything is blended in and I don't have any patchiness that could be left over from little droplets of setting spray. And so now for my fixing spray, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Natural Finish Setting Spray. This one has a really nice mist, it's very fine. So I'm just going to basically do the exact same thing. And fan. I try to keep my eyes open while I'm fanning myself, because I've noticed sometimes when I've sprayed like a setting spray or a fixing spray on and then kept my eyes closed while I'm fanning, that my mascara will transfer onto my lower lash line. So I try to keep my eyes open for as much of it as possible so I don't have any transferring. And then I'm just going to check to make sure I don't have any water droplets on my face with my beauty blender again. Alright, and there you have it. We have applied our setting spray, we have applied our fixing spray, and we are all done. Let me summarize. A setting spray is meant to blend all of the layers of your makeup into one layer. A fixing spray is meant to keep your makeup on all day long. A setting spray is water-based, and a fixing spray is alcohol-based, which means that it is listed within the first 5 ingredients. Do you need either of these? No. Do you need both of these? No. Are they helpful tools? Yes. Are they good together? Yes. If you have any questions about setting sprays, please sound off in the comment section below and I'd be happy to answer your questions. And if you have any other topics for Makeup 101 that you would like me to go over, please also sound those off in the comment section below. I will also have the link to my GoFundMe campaign in the description box below for you to click on and check out. All of the proceeds to that campaign will go into making this YouTube channel the best it possibly can be in terms of lighting, in terms of camera, everything that you might possibly want in a YouTube channel. So I hope you will consider donating to that campaign. You can follow me on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at MUBYMackenzie. And if you like this video, please give it a big ol' thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me, everyone. And remember, makeup has no rules. They're more like guidelines. So, you do you, boo-boo. Alright, see you next time, everyone. Clear all sprays that you will find on sprays that you will find on the it also helps your makeup so what's the difference between then we've got fixing sprays which do fixing sprays are to but these are so setting sprays fixing sprays can typically come in 3 different because they aren't meant to lock your skin into but you're not whereas setting